What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. I hope that you guys have been doing well. Today, we're going to be taking a look over here at the total altcoin market cap, and we'll peek around the rest of the market at the Bitcoin price chart, the XRP price chart. We'll talk about some news going on in the crypto market. I was absent yesterday. I did post over there on Twitter. If you don't know, we've been dealing with the C19 bug over here in my household, but I am happy to report everybody is on the path to recovery, and I still have not caught it. So it's been a rough week to say the least. It's been a stressful week to say the least, but everybody is moving around, doing good, feeling better, and I'm happy to report that to you guys because there was a lot of nice comments about all that stuff. So we're moving forward now. Total altcoin market cap. Let's take a peek over here at this chart. Prices still stayed within the range for the entire week. So we're on Thursday right now. We're getting closer to the end of the week. Price is still right here in the middle. I can take all of this off the screen and you can see if we just look at the range that we've been bouncing in right now, we're just sitting at about 50% of this range. So nothing has happened in regards to a break one way or another. Put everything back on there. So it's still just a waiting game to see if this has to double bottom over here for the ABC correction back into this price area. I know we hate to hear that. We hate to hear the same thing over and over again. Problem is, we've been here for 9 days. So it's just something that we're going to have to deal with until the price chart decides to break one way or the other. But I'm still optimistic. I still have my bigger view picture on all of this. You guys have been here through all this. We went through the June and the May, June, and July stuff. Prices got all the way back up to the top for the total altcoin market cap. We're just having a pullback in here is what my opinion is, and that this whole thing was massively bullish. And then sometimes we kind of get accustomed to that being normal. But the reality is we build flag poles and then we build flags. And essentially you get your big flag pole coming out over here, and then you get your actual flag coming in. Then you go on to make your next flag pole, and then your next flag. And truth be told, this was actually pretty crazy how long this lasted for. Typically, when we have these big uptrends, they just happen really fast, especially on things like the XRP price chart, where you have to pretty much sit through a bunch of torture with XRP for a very long time. And then eventually you get a big massive break. And you can see how quick these things happen over here for XRP, and then how long these flags are. Then you get your big drive up and then right back in it again. And this is historically how it's always worked over here on XRP, that when the exciting moments come, they're explosive, they happen fast, but they don't last long. Otherwise, outside of these very short time periods, and really this represents like 10% of time. So only 10% of the time are you actually moving up quickly. 90% of the time, literally 90% or more, you're sitting there in torture. If we look at this time period back in here, you could see this right in here, right? You got this big grind up that happens right here. Look how much time had to be spent going sideways. And we're talking August, September, October, November, then boom, in a matter of a couple of days, fires all the way up 200%, then right back to it again. And this is just how the markets have always worked. The big moves up, the big exciting time periods are very short lived from a time perspective. And then the consolidations and reaccumulations last a long time. So when we look at this total altcoin market cap and we see that we're having the consolidations, they're annoying. We all got accustomed to enjoying the prices going up very quickly and kind of just in a straight line, right? No real big corrections. But obviously we've gone into a pause time period at this point. But the real exciting thing about looking at this chart, is I'll take all of this off of here, is we kind of know where that break point is. Every single time that we've seen a structure look like this, or at least every time I've gone back and looked at it to see a structure like this, whether it was XRP or IOTA or whatever it was from the past, and we got up in here, it was just like it always is. It's back at this 702 retracement again, and that what we've watched happen is lots of consolidation happening underneath here. And then eventually, once it cracks through here, once it broke through that again, that was the marking point of go, go, go. Another example that we've talked about with Bitcoin back in 2017 is the same thing, right? It had its big correction, rolled all the way back up near the top, just like the total altcoin market cap has. What did it do? Same thing, A, B, C correction. And so if you're wondering where we are in relation to this on Bitcoin, it's like we're hanging out right in here right now, which I now have on the screen here. You can see the total altcoin market cap right back up to the high, just like Bitcoin did. What do you get? A, B, C correction. And now we're just kind of stuck in this garbage down in here. So there's several different ways this thing does break out. You can see with Bitcoin, there was consolidation. Once it got through the 702 retracement, it just consolidated on it and then off and away it went. Yet, if we look at something like XRP, once it got that clear break through that 702 again, you can see it got through it a couple times, but it was that final clear and break. There was no long period consolidation. It just was off and away. And same thing for IOTA. So we've referenced back to this one plenty of times throughout May, June, and July, looking at the exact structure of a crashing structure as a recovery. As you can see, back up near the top through all retracement levels. And then just like we saw over there in Bitcoin, just like we see over there in the total altcoin market cap, a 702 retracement right back into this price level, and then it just kind of hangs out here for a little while. But it's once it gets back through that 702 retracement again, that's when it was off and away. So if I'm looking for things to try to be excited about right now, because I know we're stuck in a range right now, it's going to be that. It's going to be like, okay, well, we've seen it several times where it gets back through that 702 retracement, and we know how important the 702 is for various different reasons, but we've seen it to where if it breaks through that again, that was kind of the moment where we could all kind of buckle on our straps to get ready for a rocket ship to take off. There's examples of it with Bitcoin where it doesn't necessarily mean it breaks out immediately from there, but that was a critical point to take out these levels and get back, consolidate, and eventually break. But in several circumstances, once it did break, it just kept on going. So that's really the big thing I'm looking for in the message I'm trying to kind of portray here at this point, right? We're just ranging. It's boring. And to start getting excited and sit on the edge of our seats, or at least for me to sit on the edge of my seat and start kind of being like, oh my gosh, is this going to be the moment where it happens? It's once the total altcoin market cap can get a clear break right back through there. So it's going to be about 1.175 trillion. Looking for a nice clean break through that. And we could very well already be on our way. But as you can clearly see, we're all kind of at the mercy of Bitcoin, which is typically how this market works, right? It's also on the same level as well back here from back in mid-June and early June and late May, hovering on the same location. Same thing, right? Same setup happening in here. So get a break upwards in Bitcoin, probably see the upward break in the altcoin market as well. But Bitcoin did have a pretty decent sized move here in the last 24 hours coming off the lows at just under $41,000. Now sitting above $43,000. The big things I'll be watching for as we keep moving forward is, of course, I'm looking for a new all-time high to come in around $72,000 for Bitcoin, but I'm still monitoring what is happening here at these retracement levels. The big fall that happened there on September 6th and September 7th was not at any specific retracement level. If we did get our way up to the 702 retracement, that's going to be around that $54,000. That's the number I'm really watching for Bitcoin and monitoring what kind of confluence are we seeing over there in the altcoin market. If Bitcoin gets right back here to the 702 retracement at $54,000, and if the altcoin market reaches out there to the full 4.236 extension at about 1.8 trillion, so if we had our way up right up here to about 1.8 trillion at the exact same time that Bitcoin's going to $54,000, there may have to be some reassessment here on what individual altcoins have taken off, haven't taken off, and whatnot. But we're not there right now. We don't see those confluences, but that's something that I am keeping in the back of my head. What's going to happen when Bitcoin retraces back to $54,000, so long as it does, and what is the altcoin market going to do during that time? Historically, when we see the end of bull runs come, if that is to be the end of the bull run time period, we see insanity happen in the market. So we're pretty much just going to be looking for some insanity to happen. Several altcoins firing up thousands of percentage points is typically what we see when those ending time periods come. We see the madness of like what happened with Dogecoin or with Elon Coin or Shiba Inu kind of stuff, but we see that spread further out throughout the market and a lot more bigger names. And even in 2017, seeing that happen with XRP, which is in the top market cap, right? 1,500% in 3 to 4 weeks. So those are the things we'll kind of be looking for. Right now, we don't see signs of that occurring, but as we get higher, those are the type of signs that I'll be looking for. Are we seeing insanity happen? And you'll know it. If there's insanity, you'll know it. If you feel like no matter what, you can buy anything that's gone up 400% in the last 72 hours and you're still going to be a winner, that means we're living in that moment. That means when people can irrationally say, no matter what, I can spend whatever I want on this coin that is fired up 1,000% in 5 minutes and it doesn't matter because I'm still going to win. That's that moment that we're getting really close to the end. Fortunately, we aren't seeing that right now, but those are the types of signs I would be looking for if Bitcoin got back to $54,000 and the altcoin market got up to $1.8 trillion. But we're not here, we're not there. I'm just laying down that foundation, but that's something I would be looking for when that time comes. And we'll assess it as we get there on whether or not that's how things are playing out. And really, that's just me trying to stay 2 steps ahead. The reality is, this is what we're watching for right now. Let's see the total market cap get its first clean break. Otherwise, none of that stuff matters until we at least get there. But if things start moving fast and moving quickly, I try to stay 1 step ahead on what scenario could I see playing out. That way, I'm not sitting here like the people who buy things after they've gone up 400% in 72 hours. I'm not sitting there getting caught up in that moment. I'm prepared for that moment and how I'm going to react to that moment and not reacting on the whim, right? But the reality is 1.175 trillion for the total altcoin market cap is where the 702 Fibonacci retracement resides, and that's what I'm looking for to start getting excited about the market again. Otherwise, we're just still finishing up this ABC correction and we're still just ranging. But I hope you like seeing how IOTA played out, XRP, and Bitcoin back in 2017 to show you the things that happened in these moments. And even though it's been drawn out for a little while, it's very normal to see these types of things happen when we move so straight up for so long. There's just periods of consolidation, and markets always do it. Now, there is some news I want to cover, and before people ask me how to predict the future on something on how this is going to play out, I have no idea. These politicians are absolutely crazy. They know exactly how to manipulate the public. All I can do is speculate on how these things are all playing out right now. And in the United States, we're dealing with a lot of stuff on, hitting debt ceilings and whether or not we're going to suspend the debt ceiling like we did in July of 2019. We actually suspended the debt ceiling from July 2019 all the way through July 2021. So it just came back a couple of months ago. And now, of course, the United States doesn't have the money to cover their bills unless we suspend it again or raise the debt ceiling again. We see this type of stuff happen a lot. The way it has always played out is that eventually the debt ceiling is raised or it is suspended again. Question is, will it or won't it this time? I don't have the answer for which one is going to happen. All I can tell you is what has happened every single time is eventually they did raise the debt ceiling or they did suspend it every time. There's never been a time where, we just went a whole year or two and defaulted and something like that, at least in my lifetime. But the big question is, and the worry in the markets right now is whether or not this time is different. We see that the dollar is starting to gain a little bit of strength right now. We see that 5, 10, 20, and 30-year interest rates are rising. There's worry out there on whether or not people are needing to flock to the dollar because if the government is going to shut down and if the United States is going to default, if the stock market is going to crash due to any of this. Again, I don't know what will happen here. The only thing I can do is just try to make my best guess. My best guess is they're going to do what they've always done. They're going to run it down to the very last second. They're going to get all of us freaking out. Why do they need all of us freaking out right now? Because what have we been complaining about all year long? We've been complaining about inflation. We've been complaining that we're printing too much money. So we've got to get the public on the same side of it all to be like, it's okay, go ahead and print because, if we don't print, it's going to be catastrophic, right? So taking this down to the very last second and, really instilling in that fear that United States could default, the stock market can crash, people won't get their paychecks, everything will be horrible. And they run that down dramatically to the very last second, what happens? Well, the general public comes on board and says, okay, go ahead and print the $3 trillion because all that stuff sounds really bad, right? And I don't know what the number is, something. Or go ahead and remove the debt ceiling, right? So is that the game that's being played right now? Because it's weird to me, like just, as an American, and we're told that, we're the most powerful country in the world, we're the most dominant country in the world, that we openly sit here and tell the whole world, we're on the brink of bankruptcy. Just kidding, we're the most dominant country in the world again. And then just a couple years later, we're on the brink of bankruptcy. It's just so weird to me that this is how we do things. And the only way I could see this as being, whatever it is just trying to get public perception on board with it all. And whether or not they will or won't, raise the debt ceiling or suspend the debt ceiling like they did for the last 2 years, I don't know. But if I said, how do politicians usually play this game? The way they usually play it is they get us all worried until that last second of government shutdown, government default, bankruptcy to get all the people on board who have now been screaming, inflation, inflation, we're just printing money, and get all those same people to say, fine, go ahead, just print the money. And that's the best way I can really think of how this is going to play out. But again, I don't know. Now, on a lighter note, some good news I thought that came out of Ripple yesterday was that they posted over here on Twitter. We're incredibly excited to launch our $250 million creator fund to enable creators to explore new use cases for NFTs on the XRP ledger and engage more deeply with the communities they care about. Creators will receive financial and co-marketing support, technical support for a superior NFT experience built on the XRP ledger, creative support to craft premium NFT projects. Now, why is this important? Because what do you hear about everything with NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain is the ridiculous amount of fees associated with it, right? So if you're unfamiliar with the fees associated with XRP, they are minuscule, they're almost unnoticeable. It's next to nothing to do anything on the XRP ledger. So if we could bring the NFT world to the XRP ledger, it would be great. I, of course, did apply for this. I don't know if Ripple is going to approve me or not. Obviously, XRP has always been my primary asset. It's been the root of what my channel has been ever since the beginning. I would be a perfect fit to go along with something like this. But there's been times where I have been critical of Ripple, so we'll see what happens there. I don't know. I've always wanted to dabble into the NFT space, but I've never come up with really a good idea on what type of NFTs I could make. The idea of just really selling JPEGs or selling copies of my tweets has never really felt more than just like a money grab to me. So if they're wanting to do some type of NFT project and have creative support and really kind of go back and forth on ideas and figure something out that would actually have real value as an NFT, I would be interested in working to do that. And for anybody else, you can go there and you can apply as well. And I think the idea of having NFTs on the XRP ledger makes way more sense than with Ethereum. Speed, reliability, low cost. Makes sense to me. So we'll see how that progresses in the coming days and weeks and months and whatever that turns into. It sounds like it'll be exciting to build out more use cases on the XRP ledger. I think it's great. Otherwise, as for today, just like we talked about over here on the market, we're still ranging. We're still just going to have to be patient. And what I'm looking for is for an initial break above 1.175 trillion for the total altcoin market cap. Otherwise, I hope that you guys are having a great week. I am having a much better week than I was having during the first half of it, with a lot of my family feeling better and a lot of normalcy returning back to my household. So thanks for the kind comments. Thanks for sticking it out with me through that time period. I've got a few things on my plate still today trying to catch up with life. So I'm going to be working on making a market update over here for bcbacker.com. If I can get that done early within the next few hours, then my plan is to try to live stream from my new laptop later this afternoon. I don't know if we'll get to it. I will keep you updated over there on Twitter, but that's kind of the plan I'm going with. Now, once I get this video up and running, I go eat lunch, and then after I eat lunch, I'm going to work on the market update for bcbacker.com, and then after the market update, probably take another break and start preparing and potentially live stream into the afternoon to finally test this laptop. I intended to test this like several days ago, but obviously, as you know, a lot had happened within my family catching C19 and all that craziness. So we'll see, but that's my plan. Otherwise, I will go ahead and stop rambling and wrap this thing up. If you are looking for something to do, you can check out my website over here, which is bcbacker.com. And this is a course that I put together where I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs, the different altcoin market cycles, tying them all together to show how this market has worked in the past. I talk about my personal exit plans in here, and I teach you how to set up your own charts and your own indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. I talk a lot about mathematics and percentages and why those things are so important to me. Not the prices, but the math and the percentages. I do also have a market update that was included in here on August 31st. There will be another one added in there later today. That is available to anybody enrolled in the course and anybody who newly enrolls in the course. And you can check out all of this educational content over here on bcbacker.com. You can follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. And I want to thank you so much for watching my channel. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor, but if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.